welcome to We're Not Wizards. We are the best, but not wizards. Enjoy the show!
We've said Happy New Year each other, but I mean, it's it's almost the end of the month. But for everybody out there, Happy New Year to you. I hope you're all wonderful and fabulous and had the best kind of beginning to the new year as it is. I'm going to start this off.
Did you have a pleasant hogmanay?
It was, yes. Actually, it's kind of interesting because we're at that stage now where the youngest boy is... he's kind of like, he's at that age, he's a teenager now. So he's at that age where he's too old for certain things, but he's just getting into that thing where he's kind of like, oh, can I not stay up until goodness knows what time? And we're getting to that age where it's kind of like, well, the telly's rubbish and we're not really up for party and we're not really going out, we're not having anybody around, but then we feel like you're obliged to kind of stay up, you know, and kind of see the bells in. And then send him on his merry way. He did quite well. I think he did until about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then he shuffled off to bed, and then he was absolutely knackered the next day because he's not used to staying up until 1 o'clock in the morning. That was fine. But yeah, so it was good. What about yourself? Did you do the fox hunting on New Year's Day and stuff like that, like they do? Did you join that?
Yeah.
You know.
Over the hills, yeah.
That's what I thought. Like Mary Poppins. View hello.
I don't even know if I stayed up till midnight. I don't think I did.
Did you not?
No, don't think so.
See, I don't know. See, for some reason, I don't know why it is, but BBC Scotland, the rest of the time, they don't give BBC Scotland kind of like the time of day. So, like... Basically, I don't know what's going to happen with the football, but the coverage is probably going to be terrible. It's going to be like, let's have the England game, and here's the Scotland highlights. But a hogmanay, for some reason, right, they give the controller of BBC Scotland like access to the remote control for the telly. So while you guys are getting kind of like, you know, some of the best kind of New Year entertainment, we end up with Jeannie Shortbread Tin singing Eyeless. It's not that bad, but it's not as, you know.
I'd rather that than that friggin' poisoned dwarf Jules Holland. God alive.
We get him on BBC Two. It's mad. Oh. He turns up. It's
He's
like
Channel 5 if you ask me, let alone BBC Bloody 2.
He got, I think he famously got sacked from TV once because he was doing a kids show. and he famously says, and tune in next week and be a bunch of groovy fuckers. And I think that's a true thing. It's either that or it's one of those urban legends or myths.
I've always thought... I think actually the reason I don't like Jules Holland is because of my absolute childhood fear of the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Because I think he looks like a fat version of the child catcher.
Yeah.
From Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I can see it.
Well, he's not a fat version of the child catcher. He's a child catcher over the age of 40. I mean, let's face it.
True. Well, I'm pretty sure child catcher, by the looks of it, was like 50.
He was over the age. I mean, he was like child catcher. He's let himself go. I mean, I think as a child catcher, and we're going to go there, I think once you start to slow down and you lose your speed, I think you lose your ability to be able to catch children in that kind of manner unless you use the tricks that they used. So I think automatically it's kind of like... It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy that you are going to get rounder and rounder because you're going to get like, I can't be bothered kind of chasing them down the road and then sending them to some kind of weird kind of Bavarian kind of castle.
Yeah.
I mean, what was he wanting? They never actually really told you why. When you look back at it all,
it's so weird. Like, it's so weird. Damn weird.
It was only on at New Year as well as one of the New Year Day specials.
It was one of those either a bank holiday or a it was one of those ones that was on.
Absolutely. I was watching it and My wife's not seen it. She's not seen it. She's seen bits of it. She's aware of it.
I dread to
It's
think
one
how
of
many
these things
times
that
I've
get
watched
clipped.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang back in the day. You know.
I don't know. I think it's one of these things you kind of watch once. And then...
I probably watched it like 2 or 3 times a year, I reckon.
But have you watched it all the way through, or did you just catch like the
No.
last half hour or the first? You've watched the whole thing all the way
Yeah,
through?
definitely.
Oh,
Yeah, it
bless
was
you.
one I regularly used to watch, and I was, like I said, I was haunted by
Oh yeah. Children.
Jules Holland,
Lots of lovely
child catcher.
sweetie.
Yeah.
And then he went.
Yeah, he got his big band
As he's
music
playing
out.
the piano, and he plays the piano when he's caught them, because if he played the piano before he caught them, they would run away. So he plays it afterwards. So like he's like that, haha, and he goes like, "Oh, where's the sweeties?" It's like, it's worse than this. And that's all he plays. You know what I mean? They could have Public Enemy on Jules Holland, you know, playing "Shut 'em down, shut 'em down, shut 'em down," and then all of a sudden he comes and goes.
I don't really understand how Jules Holland got that gig. Because
I just think,
like,
I
I don't
don't know,
really
I've no
get
idea.
what he came from, or because I know him from that, and I know I kind of
Yeah.
remember him. I think did he have like a chat show at one point or something like
I
that?
don't know.
He definitely
I
had a
don't know, he's
show
one of
he
these
was in
people that
regularly.
drifts.
But he was already doing the Jules Holland's child predator
Yeah.
hoot nanny or whatever the fuck it's called. You know,
Child predator. Special guest, Rolf Harris.
Jimmy Savile and Rolf Harris. You know,
It was the 80s. You know what I mean? Like,
have
it
you
wasn't us,
seen-
it was the BBC. The BBC. I mean, they knew about it. They let them on with it. I mean, it's
have
not
you
like we stopped
seen,
them.
mentioning the King of U Tree, Jimmy Savile, have you seen the latest 28 movie? 28
No,
years later.
No, years later. I haven't, and I'm,
But are
I'm
you
dying
aware
to
of
see
why
it.
I'm referring?
I am very, very aware to why it's referring, because it's almost like an Elseworld comic episode. Because it's fun. Now,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Go on.
But in the film itself happens before the scandal, the news came out.
I can
So
only assume it
basically
does.
the origi-
So I haven't seen the latest one, Bone Temple.
I haven't.
I've
no.
seen 28 years later. And these Jimmy characters are introduced right at the end of 28 years later.
Ah, right. I've
in
not
this
seen that. I've not
very-
seen that. Yeah.
It's like you watch 28 years later, and for the most part, it feels like some sort of continuation of the story.
Yeah.
And then you'll get to the ending, and I'd understood that there was some level of weirdness to this movie. And I kept going through it. I was like, I kept thinking it was going to be something to do with Fiennes at the guy who's at the Bone Temple kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it gets to his bit, and it's like, okay, yeah, there was definitely some weirdness there, but nothing that weird. And then literally the last 30 seconds of the movie, you're like, what the fuck was that? As the Jimmies, which I don't believe I noticed that there was a reference to them at all in that
There's
sense.
a reference apparently, because I read about it, because I was like, oh, that's pretty. Danny Boyle was kind of like, I think he was hauled over the coals for it, and says, well, why are you doing this? And he says, well, if you look at the very, very beginning of the film, the reference that the youngest boy is watching that show.
Oh, is it?
And at the time,
I think I must have missed that.
and I think the whole point of like 28 days later, 28 weeks later, 28 years later or whatever, is the whole point is the whole outbreak occurs before
For the U Tree investigation.
the
happened.
whole, because
Wow.
it basically didn't happen.
So
his thing
everybody's
was,
still
well, what
just
happens-
wondering if you can tell what
Yeah.
it is yet to Rolf Harris's drawings. And,
exactly.
wow.
You know, that kind of whole that.
But
so
but
that
my
didn't,
point
that
was
didn't
like,
happen.
okay, so that's weird. That's fine. I get,
Yes.
fine, cool.
Yes,
So this
but
this
why?
is, but I don't even really care why. But but then I just get that thing of, I look at it and think, do the Americans, or for the most part, apart from maybe Americans who happen to have watched a documentary or two about the atrocity that is Jimmy Savile, most of them aren't going to have a bloody clue who Jimmy Savile was.
No.
So it's like, surely it's a reference that's like completely lost outside England. Like in obviously, the UK. Obviously in the UK, everybody over 30? Everybody over 30 knows exactly who Jimmy Savile was.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's only in the UK. I would have said if I could go anywhere in the world, and the chances of me finding somebody who isn't an Anglophile knowing who on earth Jimmy Savile was, wouldn't have a clue.
No, I don't think. I think it's just one of these. I think it's kind of if you know, you know kind of thing. I don't think there's kind of like a big. I don't think there's a big kind of thing about it.
So did it get a lot of gums flapping? Did it? This.
I think it was one of these things of like, even in a made up story, why would you kind of bring that? Why would you bring it up and why would you bring it back? And I think the angle was, the way that Boyle played it was, here's a group who are out kind of basically saving people, and they've kind of got this kind of moral authority to be going out and doing that, rescuing people and making the world a better place. And people went, what are you doing? Because even in that situation where, it's like, you must have known at that part that, people would have went, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? But there you go. So,
but it's made me really. I mean, I was looking forward to seeing the next movie anyway. And now it's made me want to see it even more because it's such a weird thing. I'm just like, how has this ended up as a thing? I'm really intrigued as to how you're justifying this, and what kind of weird.
I wonder if it's a way to get kind of bums on seats and kind of people actually watching the thing. To be perfectly honest, I think you need to. I think.
Do you not think
otherwise,
maybe that would have been in the first one? Because it's essentially it's not in the first, in the one that's just come out to watch on TV.
Yeah.
28 years later, it's essentially not in it. Like I said, you could if they. I completely missed there was any reference, if there was, to Jimmy Savile in it. I completely missed that.
I think
it was
most
just a
people
very
did.
Weird guy with bleached hair and a tracksuit and some other people.
I think
who were very
most people did, just purely because he had to come out and say, look, it's kind of like it fits in with the time and it fits in with the kind of, here's somebody that's going to help kids. It's like that kind of bear kind of thing, and I just don't know. And it kind of is another thing of, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Lovely way to start the show.
Yeah. Child predators.
Yeah. And no, anyway,
fictional and factual versions.
Kind of try to pull this back. I might have to consider this whole section. I must admit, I've recently had two wonderful experiences of kind of board game, kind of sociality, or bringing in board games into a social situation that ultimately made that social situation kind of better, more enjoyable. The first thing I probably mentioned it to you. Board
games make everything better, obviously. But.
Well, obviously. That's our language.
It's our love language.
It's our love. I was going to say that. I didn't want to go so far. I didn't want to declare it openly. But the first one was Christmas Eve, where I went round to my brother's, and my brother was there, and both my brothers were there, and a various collection of young children, teenagers from the ages of about 8 up to the age of about 21, including my eldest daughter. My eldest daughter, my son, my cousin, second nephew, once removed or whatever they call it, my several nephews and stuff like that. But basically, there was, I did my usual, is I stuck a couple of games in the bag, because I just kind of go, I'm going to take a couple of games, there's going to be family, there's going to be people there. And so I took a copy of Flip 7 with me.
Swiss Army games.
It's easy. You know, I'll take my and I've also got that, you know, the popular card game, that thing that gets boulders out of horses' hooves. If we're talking Swiss Army games, anyway. Well, it's stones, isn't it? You've got that thing on a Swiss Army knife that folks say, oh, that's for taking things out of horses' hooves. Nobody actually has a horse that has that, but they have a Swiss Army knife. Anyway, I'm not getting sidetracked again. So I've got two photographs. I've got one photograph of basically three of the teenagers kind of like heads down on the phone, and then an hour later there's an entire table of these kids all playing a game of Flip 7, from the youngest that was 8 up to the oldest, which is my daughter, which was like 21, and at some point my wife also took part as well, and it was just just one of these wonderful moments where it's like I'm just watching them all kind of guessing and kind of, you know, pushing their luck and stuff like that, and this beautiful moment of them kind of nobody looking at any slab of plastic and microelectronics and stuff like that. Everybody just having a fantastic time. The communication kind of going back and forward, a little bit of the smack talk and stuff like that. And it was just an absolutely kind of fantastic kind of moment. Nice. The second one was when I went up to Aberdeen to see my daughter and to meet her partner for the first time. He's a tall guy.
So you had to take some comfort food for yourself, didn't you? Like, I'll take board games, because then I can be like, it's okay, we're just playing a game. It's okay, we're just playing a game. It's okay, we're just playing a game.
It's not that. It's not that. It's that horrible awkwardness that you have where you've got somebody. It's like the Venn diagram where, you know, I obviously know my daughter, you know, and my daughter knows her boyfriend, and I don't really know him, and there's that kind of, do we all sit around awkwardly just like making that crap conversation, or ladies and jelly spoons, do you bust open your copy of Strike and put it on the table and enter into the realms of dice-based gladiatorial combat? And that's what we did. Oh yeah, oh absolutely. I mean, who doesn't like Strike? I mean, I think I've sold so many copies of Strike. So, you know.
Do you think? So this was your homemade version of Strike as well, wasn't it?
This is my homemade version of Strike as well. So there's that almost like, you know.
She thinks her boyfriend's dad is one weird eccentric fucker. It's like, you know, he probably went home to his mum and dad, and we're like, oh, so what's your daughter's name again?
Rachel.
Oh, so you met Rachel's dad here. How did it go? You know, did you go on all right? It's like,
he's
yeah. It was really good. It was really good. So what's he like? I mean, he's nice. He's really nice. Yeah, he's really nice. What did you talk about? Well, we didn't. I mean, really, once he'd explained the rules, we didn't talk about a huge amount. What do you mean, explain the rules? Well, I think he makes games, because he brought this thing. I mean, he was really enjoying it. So, you know.
No, I mean, you know.
Yeah. No, it is a good way. It's definitely a good way to break the ice. Especially with a game like Strike.
Shifted it up a gear. Castle Combo.
No, that's a good shout too. That's a good shout. And I tell you what, I had actually, until you said this, because I obviously will cross this murky boundary one day as well.
You will.
And I will accept that the other halves I get introduced to might not be gamers.
Yeah.
But I've always attested there's a game for everybody out there.
Yeah.
And I will judge them based on the games I think they'll like. You know.
As far as I was concerned, right, it was akin to sitting out in the porch and would you like to whittle some wood with me? It was that kind of thing. You know, here's the knife, don't cut yourself. And what it did is it allowed a kind of a little bit of gentle smack talk.
Yeah.
You know, and things like that. But also what I discovered as well, and this was like kind of, and I think I have to mention this now, but I discovered that actually, kind Cam's flatmate, Ellis, and I mentioned you, Ellis, you're getting mentioned. He's a fan of the show. He listens to the show at night time when he goes to sleep. Yeah. Because obviously my daughter's like told him about this podcast. And of course he's tell people about podcasts, and there's like some people are just like, yeah, okay, nice. But Ellis, it was a weird situation because
Ellis, wake up.
I got told.
Wake up, pay attention.
No, that's the thing. No, he is. No, don't pay attention. You have a nice restful sleep.
No,
son. You're
Ellis.
fine. You have to listen
Take
to the
it
rest
all
because we're
in.
just at the beginning.
Or I will enter subliminal messages, and tomorrow, every time you hear somebody ask what the time is, you will cluck like a chicken for 20 minutes. All right?
That's not true. You don't have you can do that to your own free will. But anyway, what happened was I was like, shall I jokingly record one of those messages? So I ended up recording like a video message to say hi, hope you're well and stuff. It's weird, but there you go. So tonight's episode, we'd like to dedicate that to, the people who are listening tonight who we aren't aware who are listening, who are like through like 1 degree of separation.
Yeah.
So here's to you, Ellis. I hope you're having a wonderful evening.
Thank you for
fantastic
listening,
time, and thank you for listening. We really
I
appreciate it.
hope I don't do any random loud outbursts in the next hour or so that wake you from your slumber and in an unnecessary way.
So awful.
I know. I don't intend to. I genuinely mean I don't want to. I hope I don't.
You need the toilet. I hope.
Yeah, hang on. Where's my water? If I could just pour this in from one.
God, dude, that's awful. That's absolutely terrible.
I always with the listening thing, I always wonder, like, because I don't know how many people I know that also listen. Other than I think my best mate Matt and his wife George. I know George listens.
Hi, George.
Regularly, and I know kind of Matt. He kind of gets round to him every now and then. But I'm pretty sure George listens pretty regularly because I think she does a lot more commuting and stuff. So I think she likes podcasts. But I don't know how many other. I don't know if all of my mates listen to the podcast or none of them really. I never really ask.
I don't
think many of them do, but I don't think that many of my friends are actually that much into podcasts.
No.
I very rarely has anybody sort of said to me, I was listening to this podcast and blah, 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 blah.
Whereas I think it changed after COVID, though, didn't it? I think it changed after COVID, though, didn't it? I think people listen to more of them or less of them? Less of them. I think when a lot of people started to kind of like the whole remote thing, I think people just didn't do podcasts.
When I stopped commuting on a daily basis, that changed my listening habits drastically.
Exactly. But I mean, recently, to be honest, I have binned off or removed Spotify from my phone completely.
You're quite bitter about Spotify,
for a number of reasons. But now I'm kind of like I'm rocking with a podcast addict again and just getting back into listening to the podcast when I'm kind of walking.
I walk the dog and listen to them, and I'll listen to them like on the way to the gym or around when I'm walk around the shops and stuff. I don't tend to listen to podcasts in the gym. Every now and then I do. If I've been listening to one on the way in the car and then I've just kind of I'm really into it at that point or whatever, I just carried on.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, like most of the time, at best, I probably like 40 minutes or something. Sort of 20 minutes to the gym, 20 minutes back, and 10 or 15 minutes around the shops. That's not a huge amount, kind of thing, is it?
No, I think you have to make I think nowadays with less people commuting. But I think there's a lot of people that have, like, I know that are like still doing kind of like remote jobs. Like I'm still pretty much kind of all remote. But I'm now making an effort to say, listen, I need to, rather than me occasionally catching up with like the Board Game Snobs or Board Game Barrage or Board Game Hot Takes or I'm kind of like my friend, the Staying In guys. I've been making sure I've been catching up with them and listening.
They're one of the few ones I listen to, Staying In.
Yeah, because it's just lovely kind of. It's just cuddly jumper warmness. It's incredibly good. incredibly good fun. So it's
I don't know if there's any other than Staying In. I don't think there's any board game podcasts I listen to anymore at all. I know this is like I used to be a Secret Cabal all the time.
I've never.
I suppose like Beast of War on tabletop. I watch their YouTube, which is essentially also a podcast. So there's a lot of those. So I suppose what I actually did is I changed a lot of like while I'm cooking, I'll have my phone on the shelf above me and I'm listening to it / half watching it. So a lot of the podcasts I do consume that way, you know, but like just the audio ones, hardly any anymore. And like I say, for board game stuff, not at all really.
Yeah, no, dog. I mean, I think my thing is, I think it's like my ears are big. My ears are bigger than my stomach, kind of thing. Is I'll go, oh yeah, I'm gonna download this and download this and download this and get this, and then I find like I end up with like a huge list. Like I like Beyond Solitaire. I'll put that on when I can, when I'm kind of like intellectually up to the task, because it's like as far as interview shows go, it's like, there's an interview show, and it's just like, yeah, but if you compare it to like other board game interview shows where it's like, hey, who can armpit fart the most, or hi, welcome to We're Not Wizards, you know, from an intellectual point of view,
I was thinking a lot of people, I think they say like, oh no, I've had a hard day, I don't think I've got the intellectual capacity to listen to Real Wizards.
In fact, I need to kind of like almost lower my IQ points by a couple. So let's listen to the latest one as well. Just in that kind of, do you know what? That's what I would like to think that somebody, because, and I think I said this, we had like a couple of peaks where somebody's obviously discovered the show and just downloaded like several hundred episodes all at once. And it's been like 2 or 3 days now. And I'm hoping it's not one of these kind of AI kind of podcast bots that goes on and says, yes, let's hack this person's bank account by getting kind of voice recognition and just making something. It's
probably some poor bugger in the Outer Hebrides who's now been committed to a mental asylum because all he did was listen to us for like 4.5 days straight.
2 hours a time.
Didn't sleep. You know.
Never.
He wasn't as good as Ellis. He couldn't fall asleep with us. We actually just kept him awake.
He did.
You know.
Ellis, you're going to wake up just having the best day. You're just going to wake up. You're going to be just absolutely feeling like today's going to be the best day. It's all going to be winning for you. We can just continue doing that all the way through. Games, right? Let's talk board games. Let's actually get on to the reason that we're here. What have you been playing, Mr. Pryor? Because I got one thing I'd love to talk about, and I want you to talk about what you've been playing.
The new day has begun, and the gents of Oathsworn fame have moved on. And so there's only kind of probably, I don't know, there's a couple of games I would hate to talk about. So yeah, we've been playing through Bombusters, as we've discussed many a times, and I think we're up to like the 20. I don't know. I want to say we're in somewhere like the mid-20s for the episodes of Bombusters that we're on.
Yeah,
and going strong with it, and playing some other things here and there in between and stuff, but happily smashing through a few levels of Bombusters, for Tartar. But then in talking to one of the guys, Ian said, I think that they said like, oh yeah, we said on the way back from yours the other night that we were kind of thinking like, oh, I think we're ready. They all sort of said together that they're probably ready to start something new, a new campaign thing.
Nice.
So I had options, and they were all extremely good options. I was kind of, as I showed you, Dante's Inferno arrived.
That's huge.
Did structural damage to the foundations of my house when I placed it on the table. And instantly I was just like, I think that was the one that actually triggered in me as well. I with that, before I'd heard that they kind of discussed that they were kind of ready to get into something. That was the one that made me think like, oh, is it time? Is it time? So the options that kind of really were screaming at us available was Dante's Inferno, which is from Creative Game Studios, is a massive big boss battle, like very, very similar, I think, in some level to Oathsworn.
Yeah.
Obviously, having only looked at it, I'm mentioning that merely in that there is an ongoing story, and in ongoing story, you bottle against basses.
You bottle against the basses.
You bottle against bass, some very nasty fish that you have to smash over the head with a bottle. So yeah.
Is it too late for you already?
Apparently so. And so that one I kind of like. I looked at it, was like, oh, I think this could be really cool. But then a little part of me was just like, it might be a little bit too close to Oathsworn in kind of carrying on again for something else. And I worried that we might constantly compare it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It'll be a compare and contrast job, and if you find something as a core mechanic that you don't like, you'll end up being like, I wish this. If only I did this. If only I did that.
So
this is crap.
The other two that were available was Maladum, which is from Battle Systems, which did Core Space, and they do Battle Systems make the most awesome and amazing cardboard terrain. They're just this really amazing looking stuff. And then Maladum is actually, although it looks like a fantasy game, it's actually a post-apocalyptic game of their sci-fi game Core Space, and it's actually set after Core Space and is in the post-apocalyptic, like everything's gone to shit and it's basically back at this sort of fantasy world.
All right.
So I've got a load of that, and that looks really, really cool. And I thought, that could be quite a cool option. But I was sort of, in a weird sense, I was going to have to do a lot of work putting bits together and stuff for that. So, and then the other option was Arydia, the paths we dare tread, and I just kept hearing nothing but really good things about Arydia. All the reviews coming in were really, really good. It kind of essentially looked like really like you were playing pretty much a system run D&D campaign, you know. So, and the way it works is you're up to a party of 4. You are exiled people trying to essentially you've been exiled. I'm not entirely sure from what you've been exiled yet, but you're trying to essentially get these tokens called quills, I think, which are like money, but the only thing they can ever be used for is to essentially buy your freedom. And that's what we as a party are trying to do. We're trying to go out collectively, get quills to buy our freedom and return home. And the way it starts is you build your character, and you do that by saying, right, well, you've got like Path of Valor, Path of Arcana, Path of Light, Path of Shadows. So essentially that's your class. So you're either like a soldier, a ranger, a cleric, a wizard, a rogue, a bard, Path of Enlightenment, or whatever it is. Path of Inspiration, I think it is. Path of Inspiration. And then you choose your character race. Yeah. So you have these cool little pre-painted minis, and the minis are just from here up, and then you slot the head of the race you want into it.
Oh, see, that is cool.
So,
I like that.
And then I've got the short versions of the bodies as well. So if you're a dwarf or a hobbit, not a hobbit, a halfling, so I am a dwarf soldier, and we have a sort of dark elf rogue, an orc bard, and a he's a scrin or something like that. It's not D&D, but it's very much D&D parallel.
Ah,
But there's
right.
a few things
Very
where it's,
D&D adjacent.
yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So we played the tutorial scenario, and so the first thing you have is this like hex grid in front of you, this hex map, but it's really, really thick cardboard, and you can see sort of cutouts in it, and it's kind of sepiaed like a map that you're aware, so it looks like a map, but fog of war kind of thing. So you can see rivers and mountains and stuff, but you can't really see what's truly there.
Yeah.
And then what you do is on one side of the hex, you press your finger down so it flips up the hex, and you turn it over, and it's the coloured side, and you can see where you are. And then there's loads of references, so it'll be like EVT 101, and you've got 3 boxes of loads of cards which are threats and events and baddies and blah 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 blah. And then you've got 4 boxes as well: big, medium, small, large, and long. And they're essentially maps. So you then zoom into that little hex that you're on, and it will say big 001. So you go to the big thing, and it's like a stack, like a wad of things, and you take that out, and it will be like a like these kind of games, like what's the one you sent me?
Kinfire.
Kinfire, like a storybook one. So it's so it's this lovely artwork of the thing, and then it might off one side of it. It might say medium 001. So then if you go off the top of that bit of thing, it'll have the next bit, and you go find that bit. And then there'll be events and characters marked on the thing, and you can go around and talk to the events and the characters and stuff. And then so we get to this. It's a guild camp. This guy says like, right, okay, you guys, you're going off into the wild to do your thing, but you can do one last bit of training if you like before you go. If you go up to the field, I've set the training dummies up for you. So you go off up the top of the little grid, go to this new bit of map, and it's a training field, and then you go the thing that says another code, and there's like 2 boxes in the box that are like advent calendars, so they're like thick, and they've got little things, and you open them up, and there's a little pre-painted training dummy
that's kinda cool
thing, so we fight the trainers, and it walks you through how your character fights and how you do your things and everything.
Yeah.
And the fighting's really cool. So everybody has these 2 main, you have 3 boards, but so one is your kind of progression skills, and you can see like prerequisites, so you might have to have this skill and this skill before you can unlock that skill, and
like a skill tree kind of business then.
And they're punch out things, so you press on it a certain way and it'll flip it out, and you can add it to your cool. Classic D&D view on a video game where you've got your body layout, and you're showing what you've got on your chest and what you've got on your legs and what you've got on your arms. So you've got that, and then you've got your stats, and these are all things that you're plugging bits into, and you've got your skills that you've got live and stuff like that. So you've got what you got in your right hand, what you got in your left hand, what's in your backpack, and all these sorts of things. And then when you fight, you have a D20. So if say for instance you've got say against the training dummy, you've got then a card which shows a picture of the training dummy, and on the training dummy there's all these dots like laid out in sort of various patterns. And then so if I attack him with my sword, I roll a D20, and then on the card for the sword it'll show like a little explosion, and it might say, for the first one it might say +4, and then it'll show a darker grey explosion maybe going in a right to that one, and it might say +12, and then it might show going up a darker explosion at 20, right? So based on what I roll, so say I rolled 20, that means I've done all of the hits, so then that's the path I take when I hit him. So I'll start on one of the things, and I can move it over to that one. So I damage that spot, then I damage that spot, and then I damage that spot. But but then on them they'll also have like crit spots. So like if you've got say you've got like a grid of four on a d6.
Yeah.
Say then in between like two of the corners, it might have a little orange one. So basically, if when you're damaging, your damage goes like essentially over that orange one.
Yeah.
So you went from there to there and upwards to the right. Then off that orange one, it will show another little line. It will say you also then damage that.
Oh,
So it'll
right.
like a crit kind of thing. So you can kind of do all these cool things. So yeah, and then when they hit you, you've got different dice colours. So you've got like a red, a blue, a green, and a yellow, I think. And on the dice is not numbers, but it's the same as your inventory layout of your body. It's like a little grid, but it shows what gets hit. So like the red dice is the same grid, but it'll almost always hit the upper body, like it'll hit your upper chest or your shoulders and your head.
Yeah.
Whereas like the yellow one might hit your legs, or the green one might likely to hit your right hand side, or the blue one might hit like your left hand. I forget which way it works. So that shows them when they attack you, if they hit you, where they hit you, and you'll know based on what you're wearing, what armor you've got, and how much you reduce the damage, or if you deflect it or parry it because you got a weapon there, and blah blah blah. So it's just doing some really really cool shit at the moment, and all of us came out that first one, just like, okay, cool, we've got it, and now we're basically going off on our adventure. Now is the story going to live up to it? Is it going to be?
That's the question.
That's definitely the biggest one. But so far, fun, really fun.
That's good.
And doing some really cool stuff. So yeah, looking forward to it.
I just think these campaign games, you need to campaign. I actually think that some of these should be like reviewed, almost like a D&D campaign. I think that the experience that you get is far greater than what you get on I think you can give like really, really good first impressions, but I don't think you can actually give a full kind of critique of a game like that until you've gone into it kind of 6 or 7 sessions.
I don't think I could have given a true and honest review of Oathsworn until we were about 12 episodes in, because even if I'd given it after 3 episodes, I would then not have been aware of what they did in episode 5, and it changed the thing. And then what it did in episode 9, where it was just like, bloody hell, I didn't see this coming, and blah, blah, blah. And all the different things that it didn't just sort of keep slightly changing the shape of the thing we were playing with each time. Yeah. Sometimes it took that thing away and just went, oh no, now you're doing this. And you're like, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah. That's why I think it's like a role playing game, as in you can review the systems. Yeah. And I know some people that when they write up kind of RPG games, they'll review the systems and say, based on the system, how does this work? And I think there's a difference between how a system works and then the kind of the player interactivity and how those systems work when you're faced with like
how
4
they
or
facilitate.
5 people kind of playing.
Yeah, how well
at the same time.
Because I was about to say that's I fundamentally agree, but then also I suppose role playing, like when we say like, oh, this would be a great game, but it needs the right group to play it. Yes. Role playing games are even more that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But then I suddenly thought, well, actually, yes, that's always the case. But there's probably also, and obviously I'm not an experienced role player, but I would imagine there'll be role-playing games out there that experienced DMs will be like, this is a clever system and it does some cool things, but it gets in the way of itself, and it doesn't promote really good role-playing. If you see what I mean, it's too mechanical. Or something like that, So yeah, I was just sort of thinking like, oh, actually, is it quite hard to review a role playing game outside of just sort of going, this is what the mechanisms are? But and without trying to have the bias of the group. But then, yeah, sometimes it's not always going to, I suppose, be about the group as such, is it? You know,
I think
the game.
I think it's like any game where you've got a strict set of rules and whatever happens around it. I mean, I know we keep talking about Cursed Core, but that is a game where the rules are as dry as crackers.
Nothing
But
to
that is not the cheese and pickle that's on top that makes it absolutely delicious. It's the cheese and pickle are the kind of the players, and that's what kind of makes it. That's what kind of makes it nice. It kind of, I mean, that sounds really fun. I mean, that's good.
So far, yeah, we're playing again Wednesday, so
that'll be good.
hopefully next time we talk, I'll have hopefully had 2 or 3.
Yeah,
you know, more goes, and I'll have at least have like an idea of going like, oh, actually, you know, because I don't know, like, because obviously OS1 had a great story, but you are essentially on rails. You know, you are following through the story. There's lots of choices you make throughout it to affect your story and the outcome, but the fundamental beats of the story will always happen. You know, the chapters are what the chapters are, you know. Whereas this, I don't know how free reign we have it at the moment. Obviously, we're on a hex. So there's a north, there's a northeast, there's a east, there's a southeast, there's a south, there's a southwest, there's a, you know. So, you know, I don't know at this point know how much freedom we've got and how much that's a good thing, you know, or are we just going to be having like, are we on an overarching story that's a bit more vague, as in we have an ultimate goal we want to get to, as in we want to essentially have our funds to free ourselves, and we're going to have this collective story of sort of side quests that becomes our saga, you know, kind of thing. I have no idea. So
yeah, that sounds mad. I mean, it sounds like, but then Kinfire Chronicles was like that. You're kind of going in a certain direction with the story, which I think sometimes you kind of need. I think there was another game. Yeah. What was the game I played ages and ages ago by Lucky Duck, which was along the same kind of lines as their detective
Chronicles
one,
Prime.
which was the fantasy, the fantasy one that they did as well.
Destinies.
Yeah, Destinies. And I thought one of the things with Destinies was that you were there was less kind of hand-holding, and you felt like you were flicking back and forward between one of those choose-your-own-adventure kind of games. It kind of was okay, but also my thing about Destinies was I could have just played the tablet. I didn't really need the game. I didn't really need the board or anything like that. I could have just played. This could have been a tablet game kind of thing. So I'm glad that there's that kind of level of... with Arydia, it's kind of involved. It'd be interesting to see how that kind of turns out. I was talking about kind of how base roles kind of lead into an overall experience, because I played a game called Manipulate.
This is I couldn't remember the name again.
Now I'm gonna do some justice. I should have looked this up beforehand, but I'm gonna very, very quickly look up the details, because quite simply I don't want to be doing this any kind of disservice. Originally it's a company called Walrus Ventures, and it was a gentleman by the name of Josh Smith who sent me the game to look at, and it's a game called Manipulate.
This is it, yeah? This game?
Yeah.
Is that what it looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm going to... Right, so there's certain things that if people send me stuff, I'm literally like, I'm not sure. So it says... Manipulate is a competitive and darkly humorous board game. Darkly humorous to me, right, is instant kind of, okay, where are you going to go with this? Players choose from a number of characters and make deals, double-cross, and outmaneuver each other as they seek to build their shady business empires in the city. The goal to be the most powerful at the end of the game. So, and it said things, I've got lots of humour and satire on the cards. My right, I shield you from a lot of the crap that we get sent. The number of times I've had offers of here's the most humorous farting in your face joke type board game that you've ever played or stuff like that, or this is another humorous party game where only people with a thick skin should be playing. And it's like, yes, we know, but Cards Against Humanity did that. And we don't need to hear any more of these. So I kind of went into Manipulate, and I was kind of like, is there a level? What's it going to be? What were we going to do? And I've looked over the rules, and I kind of looked in the cards, and I think, well, it doesn't seem kind of that bad, but it seemed like a baseline where it was the kind of the cracker, and it was either going to fail or pass based on the game. So I managed, through fluke and chance, to actually get 6 people playing this on Friday. And
so I see that it's between 3 to 6, isn't it?
Oh my days!
Now, do you feel this is a 6-player game?
This is a game. I think this is a game that is a 4 to 6 player. I think this game. Cool. I think this game is kind of like, you get some games where it's 6 players and you just like go, there's far too much stuff to do. You're never going to get through a turn. You end up with too much downtime. By the time you've got through it, the state of the game's played, and it's the last game I played where I was kind of like, no, you need to limit the number of players, was Emberleaf, where I thought the sweet spot for this is 3. Otherwise, everybody's sitting about kind of growing thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. So Manipulate, as it says, as I've already said, is about you basically, in front of you, you have a series of favours that you can play. You have a series of ventures that you want to build. You have a skeleton, which is basically a skeleton in your closet. Right. And that does that kind of does nasty things if it gets revealed. It's all about your influence. You're ultimately trying to gain as many power points as possible. You've also got different rules, or you've got different characters. So I played the Media Mogul, and you've also got like a special skill, a one-off super favour that you can bring out. So my super favour was basically, during the game I can play this card, and what it does is I'm allowed to basically turn over 3 other players' skeletons in their closets, and I get 50 grand for the amount of power that it removes from them. Because I was a media mogul, I was making money out of their deepest, darkest secrets.
The misery of that's cool, yeah.
So the characters you've got, there's like a media mogul, there's like a politician, there's like the head of the police, Right. There's like, big head of a newspaper. There's all like basically what you would say the nastiest. And basically, and what you're doing on your turn is you're trying to basically get enough money together to kind of play these ventures. And what happens is these ventures cost a certain amount of money to play. They give you a certain amount of fixed power. And then they also give you like an ongoing kind of regular income. So the whole idea of this is you are playing ventures and you're paying for the ventures, and then every round, at the beginning of the round, you automatically get like 100 grand plus whatever your revenue is. And it's like, okay, that's fine. So it's kind of like a base economic game. Then you get your favours, and your favours basically allow you to play certain deeds against other players, so you can make them have to like lose power, lose authority, scrap one of their kind of ventures that they've built already, force players to like abandon money, force players to like remove cards. It's just all these little nasty little things that cause you to kind of go back down this track. And the good thing about it is, like, when you build a venture and when you grow in power, if you then for whatever reason lose that venture, you also lose the power with it as well. So you can end up less like so if somebody comes in, you can be like, going, yeah, look at me, I built all these ventures, I've got lots of money, yeah. And then somebody come in and make you lose like 2 or 3 ventures based on what you've done. Because if you can be in the situation where you can end up bankrupt. somebody can actually go after you, and there's like a lovely kind of kidnapping card where you basically say, right, okay, give me 100 grand. But if you've got over 500,000 in your coppers, you've got to give me 200 grand. So you can play them. And it's like one of these strange things. You know what it's like with these kind of got you games and the kind of the nasty games where at the beginning everybody's kind of it's like going to the pub, having their drinks, and it's whoever goes to the toilet first and breaks the seal, as they say. So everybody's playing quite nicely. We're all playing our little ventures, and then somebody plays their first kind of favour card against somebody else. You can't play for the next, or none of your favours are going to work for the next turn. And that happened to me. It done me over because you can play as many favours as you want. And one of them is basically, well, this favour means, well, for my next turn, everything that I play is doubled. And then I've managed to play 2, and you can stack up certain cards. So it wasn't only doubled, it was quadrupled. So I was going to have a massive payday. And then before I played my next card, because you have to declare it and say, well, everything I'm going to play is going to be like quadruple, basically. Next person round came round and went, no, I'm going to play this card and you can't play your stuff. Well, I tell you, that was it. After that, it was an open war. It was like people were going after each other. They were stopping them from playing games. And then we had a home, and there was one player, and Andy, bless his cotton socks, every single game. You know, you've got the player in the group that you could give them a set of rules 5 minutes before you start playing, and 3 minutes before you start playing, they've basically solved the game. They know exactly how to win it. Andy does this all the time. He's just got one of these mindsets where you can give him like a set of rules, and he knows exactly how he's going to play the game. So we're playing all the game. I'm like, we're kind of building power. I'm settling. I'm realising I'm going to be third place. I'm never going to get anywhere. Andy's storming ahead. Now you can do deals with other people. You can just crack deals with them and say, right, okay, if I give you this property, will you give me this amount of money? Or I'll swap you this property. Because some of the ventures that you build, well, most of them, they're all colour-coded. And if you collect sets based on your colour code, so my media mogul was like dark grey. So I had to basically collect cards. If I collected cards that were dark grey, I got more power. I became more powerful at the end of the game, and I got more money and stuff like that. And at the end of the game, you get like extra power for every 100,000 that you had. So we're going into the last round. Andy's storming ahead, and it's like 10 to 9. It's kind of wrap up time. He's sitting there, he's chuckling, he knows he's winning. So basically, my game passes. I draw 3. At the end of your turn, you draw like 3 more venture cards, and you draw like up to 3 to take your thing up to 3 for ventures, and up to 3 to take you for favours. And I basically drew a kidnapping card to take money, and then 2 arsonist cards. And an arsonist card basically says, right, one of your ventures is getting burnt down. There's nothing you can do about it. And as I said before, you lose a venture, your kind of your power rating kind of drops. Now, Andy had kind of like, he'd been baiting me a bit earlier, you know, just before, as I was playing, I says, I was thinking about playing this. He says, well, if you play this card, I've got this null and void card. That basically null and voids any kind of thing that you're trying to play against me, right? So as it's going round,
could that be a bluff?
No, he says, here's the card. He's actually showing me the card. He goes, you do what you want, son. I've got this card. Yeah, you can. You can just, you can bluff. Yeah, you could be just saying, I've got one of those cards. Don't worry. You can, the thing is, you can agree that basically you can renege on deals and stuff like that. So you can say, all right, well, if I give you 200 grand, will you give me that kind of one grey card that I need? And it's like, yeah, sure. Thanks for the money. No, it's all right. You're fine. Why are you still here? Can I help you with something? Kind of thing. But we agreed at the beginning we weren't going to renege. But anyway, so Andy's telling me, right, I've got this card. You're not going to play against me. I was like, okay, fine. keep the card in my hand. Draw two, as I say, I draw two arsonist cards. It goes past it goes past Andy. It goes past Paul. It goes past Andy. It then is about to go to Isaac. I'm looking at the state of the board. Andy's still ahead. Isaac's just catching up to him. I look at Isaac and I just say, he's got one, because he knows he's got one stop me and buy one card. I say, here you go. Here's the 3. Here's the 3. Hand them over. So I handed him over like 2 Inferno cards and a kidnapping card. So he hit him with the money. And then he hit him with the 2 Inferno cards and dropped him back down again. So hitting him with the money lost him a couple of bits of power he could have. And then the 2 Inferno cards, he must have lost himself a good couple of power points. So he was like second. He was raging. He was not funny, but it was beautiful. It was so, you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know, it kind of like, you can read the rules and you kind of go, oh, I don't know what this is going to be like. But see, when I was like just playing it, I was just like, yeah, this is incredibly good fun. But going back to what we said earlier.
This is very group dependent, this game.
This is going to be very
clearly.
If you
100%.
had somebody that like basically they were all in cream puff land, if you looked at them the wrong way and if they didn't like it and stuff like that, they're not going to enjoy this game. But I must admit, I was pleasantly surprised. It was really funny because I was sitting around at the beginning of the table and going, oh, should we... I says, well, I've got, should we play this? Should we play that? It's like, well, we could play A-Parade, but we know it's going to take... There's too many of us, it's going to take too long. We're never going to get the game done in like 2.5, 3 hours, even though we like it. Or we could play, we also had mixtape as well. But damn you, Mikey. It only plays 4. So... we couldn't play that. So we settled that. I just went, well, manipulate. I just handed it to somebody else. I says, Isaac, you teach us how to play. And he was just like, this is actually really, really easy to kind of play. But it was like during the game, there's the little bits of just the little digs here and there. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this. So that it started off kind of really, really kind of calm and nice. And by the end, it was just literally, we had become the very people whose roles had been dealt to us. We'd become like the police chief and the politician and everything like that. It was absolutely glorious. So so that was manipulate. It's So
it sounds like that was a very pleasant surprise.
It was a pleasant surprise. It's as I say, when anybody says, would you like to try this or look at this or play this? And it's got hilarious party game or dark and moody adult game or anything like that. I kind of instantly go, not
safe for work.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, okay, But I'm
but
glad.
While we were talking, I was looking it up because I suddenly thought, oh, this must be quite new because I've not heard of it. It's been out for years.
It's been out for bloody years.
It's like
it's 28. It's pre-pandemic.
It's like 7 years old. So it's quite strange that it's kind of landed in your lap as a in that circumstance at this stage kind of thing. You obviously usually you'd kind of expect, oh, this is for my upcoming Kickstarter, or this is for my thing that's just fulfilled, or this is become the thing that's coming to retail very soon. Blah blah blah. Not. Do you want to have a look at the game I published 7 years ago?
But then, I've been having this conversation with other people in the industry, and one of the biggest issues that we've got in the industry is that once certain games get produced, there's all this, we need this now, get it out now, let's fight it now. And then the older game catalogues just kind of sit there. Why not? I mean, fair play to the guy. He could have just sat there and went, well, this is over. But I mean...
To be fair, it's something... I'd love to see more reviewers doing more stuff about games that have existed for a while, Obviously not necessarily games that you just can't get anymore, If you know that it's still in print and or like it's not too hard to get hold of a copy, then do a video on it,
I think the issue is, and this is going to sound strange... But I think the issue is because people don't want to buy stuff; they want free stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a...
But also, these reviewers have got literally a library of board games because they're all sat in front of their shelves.
Yeah.
You know, doing the Tom Vassell method. You know, sat in front of their shelves of board games that they've never done a review video on. I'll bet because someone's already done that. You know. So
it's a kind of chasing the zeitgeist and stuff.
Somebody
like that,
did it
isn't
5 years ago. You know.
I mean,
it's still a popular game. It's still in print. Put your opinion out there about it. You know. I wish people would do that more often.
Well, there was,
but
I think,
old games only get mentioned in top 10s or top 100s of all time and blah blah.
What,
blah,
like
you know.
Curse Court? But I mean, that's a beautiful game which I just discovered, and it's like a put it out there.
With Curse Court is a game I've been championing for years.
It's
you know,
lovely.
it's one of those ones I'll talk about
lovely.
every time.
It depends because unfortunately,
and also our top 10s of the games of the year are nothing to do with the year in which we are making the thing about. Very rarely, very few of the games are anything to do with.
It'd be a 2-minute podcast, and it'd be like, sorry guys, we had played absolutely no games.
This is the game I played that from 2025. It was okay.
It was okay.
Take care.
I mean, I don't want to play any other games from 2025. But again, that is, you know, just to say, if you are releasing a game in 2026 and, you know, and you would want somebody to have a look at it for you, then, you know, give us a shout. Magic at we'renotwizards.com. Drop us an email, or you can fill in the contact form on the lovely website, which you can look at. It was interesting because there was a post in the my favourite, non-favourite, the board game reviewers and media group, where somebody actually asked the question, you know, how do I get hold of kind of like older titles to review? But my thought, and then I was kind of like, but are you just looking to get older games for free? Are you actually just looking for
older games for free? Yeah.
Because I wrote,
how do I get older titles for review? Well, you pop to your local game store and buy it.
Buy them.
Yeah.
How do I get a copy of Sky Team? Buy it.
Yeah, you see that shelf over there with Sky Team on it? Walk over there and you take it over to that nice lady by the till.
And then you hand over your card and you go ka-ching, and they maybe charge you 30 pence for a bag to put it in, or knowing you're carrying your backpack so you can put it straight in it. But somebody did ask the question, and I wrote something and I deleted it because I'm one of these people that kind of like, I have a bloody good rant, and then I delete it and I said, and I'm going to put this into posterity, I would suggest if you're looking to review older titles and buy some games and review them, then write or create long form reviews. Then create social media accounts and promote your review material, making sure you take the time to interact with other media creators. Then build your following over a period of time covering various games. Create a YouTube channel or a podcast, or learn to edit videos, audio and manage on the platform. Learn best practice on optimization, discoverability and current trends. Create shorter videos, multiple photos for use on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. Consider collaborations with other channels and interact with their content. Create a website, learn how the platform works, about content layout, keywords and how they have the site indexed by the major search engines and LLM. Learn how to tie that Google search into Google Search Console so you can track where you're being found. Then ask yourself seriously if you're doing this because you want to add your voice to the critical opinions in the BG space, or because you want to take 6 photos, write 100 hype love words and stick it on Instagram so you can get some free games.
Oh, you beautiful human being. That is the extended version of my feelings for quite some time about the media space in our industry. Wow, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful.
I might actually put
and
this
you
in the
didn't have the cojones to press send at
well,
that point.
You know what I mean? I've been in trouble with that group before.
Oh, have you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Are they not fans of reality?
They don't like, they don't like
they like honest feedback.
Anything. Yeah, they're the people that when what's his face, your man Duck Boy,
Lavender.
No, Lavender as well, but Duck Boy, what's his face, Quackalope. When they were peddling their kind of like blackmail shit. Like there was people in that group that were going, but you should get paid for a review because it's got, because you're working for it. It's like, wrong. You know what I mean? Wrong.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, that's not how it works.
So anyway, go back. Go back to manipulate. So
manipulate.
So that you think this is a little hidden gem? Nobody's. Because I remember seeing your post about it, and I saw the picture. I was like, I've never fucking heard of this. Never. I couldn't even remember the name. Every time we kind of mentioned that we were going to talk about it, and I'd certainly never seen it.
No, I mean, it's just...
This is a little diamond in the rough then.
Pleasantly surprised, but it is going to take the couple of people. If I tell you what, probably a good night would be a bit of Curse Court, which I played again with 6 players the other night, and it was suits you, sir. Out for a country walk, sir. Wearing the crown, sir. Betting some money, sir. Suits you,
my
sir.
reputation.
The sixth Earl of Winfield in a car park at 3 a.m. with my reputation. I think a bit of Curse Court followed up with a bit of Manipulate. I don't think you'd go wrong.
So
I think if you had the right, I think you had the right
too.
time. Yeah, I think a night.
Good convention game where you're all having a laugh and a hoot and holler.
You can make a noise. You can make a
take
noise.
anything too serious.
Nah, you can make a bit of a noise out there. You can make a bit of a noise.
You've played your 9-hour game of Galactic Cruise, and you're just like, right, let's be nasty to each other.
I tell you, I'm playing Galactic Cruise on BGA.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, are you? Right.
Yeah.
So you can make it last even longer.
I'm not doing much at the moment, so I decided the best thing for me to do is to take a long time doing everything.
Yeah.
Thank God. Do you know what? It's not.
It does
dry.
look very good, though. To be fair,
it's not dry. It does look very good. I have no absolutely understanding of what I'm doing in any way, shape, or form at all. I'm absolutely guessing it.
You're doing what it tells you can do, and choosing one of those things.
It's got a beautiful button on it, right? And this is required for every other game out there that says it's got a big goldy brown button, or for people who are shite at games, a brownie button. And it's literally show me. And if you press show me, it shows you whereabouts in the board you can press to make things happen. Now currently, and let's go to a live view of where we are with this game in particular. I shall bring it up because it's live. I shall tell you where we are in terms of the scores. Okay. Currently on Galactic Cruise. No, let's not do that.
Have you scored yet?
I have about 10 points at the moment. Galactic Cruise, we're only 52% of the way through. Oh my days, I'm going to die first. Right? So currently, right? And I thought I was doing badly. So the person that's in the lead has got 59 points. The person who's second place has got 35 points. So may think somebody's been playing this game a lot more than they've been letting on. The person who's beating me has got 13 points. And I'm cruising along. 10. I'm cruising along on the crest of a wave with 8 points in Galactic Cruise. And we're 52.
So you bigged yourself up with the 10 points earlier. In reality.
Actually, in reality. Apparently I've got 5 money now, which means I can probably launch a ship. I have no idea what I'm doing at all. It's literally press the show me button and put stuff, and then if you look at the history, because it shows you the history of what people have done, my entire game of Galactic Cruise is me going, Richard tries to build a ship, Richard adds a component, Richard has to undo his turn because he realises he's got no money. Okay, Richard then places a worker. Richard then tries to convert something into money. Richard does not have enough money. He has to, and it's like, obviously, and keeping it on brand, it's We're Not Wizards. So I am coming across as the absolute pinnacle of ineptitude when it comes to playing this particular board game. And I do apologise to the gentleman at Polyhedron Collider, because they declared this the game of the year. and they must be ultimately very much more intelligent than I am, because I have no idea. I'm like, I'm building a ship. You do not have enough money. Where do I get the money? You've got to sell these cruises things. Well, how do I do that? You've got to advertise. Well, how do I do that? I'm starting to realise that there's a limit on my intellectual capacity when it comes to board games, and it's probably burning other people's ventures. That's as far as I could get. You know, I did start looking at Dwellings of Eldervale. It looks incredibly simple.
Stop it.
It does look incredibly simple.
Stop talking about it.
It does look incredible. It's like Fetch, isn't it? Dwellings of Eldervale is like Fetch for me in Mean Girls. It's never going to happen. I might as well just... It was because I got it out and I realised that I've got the Legendary Edition, so it's got like the sound bases. So you put the monsters in the sound, and then when you move the monsters about the board, it kind of like it just goes like that. Arlo looked at it and he just went, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What is that all about?" So there you go.
Oh yeah, another game. There's another game I want to talk about that I've been playing. I played a few times the other night, and Lovely. It's a game that, again, this is one that went massively under the radar. So Vampire the Masquerade, which is one of the Eternal Darkness.
Yeah.
Well, World of Darkness.
Yeah.
World of Darkness, and it used to be a collectible card game back in the day that started off as Jihad, then it became Vampire Eternal Darkness, and it was an amazing but very heavy CCG. And if you don't know anything about Vampire the Masquerade, it is, like I say, it's set in the World of Darkness, which is also werewolf and something else. I think there's another one, I forget what it is. And Vampire, it's this real dark, brooding vampire underworld. Think of it very much like Blade. I was going to say Twilight vibe. No,
it's
not
Twilight. It's absolutely
Twilight. Nobody is. There are no vajazzled.
Do they twinkle?
No, they do not twinkle.
Do they sit down like this with their fingers when they sit down at the table?
So in Vampire the Masquerade, there's various kind of types of I forget what you would call them.
Vampires,
like the Bruiser, who are real aggressive, brutal, punks and stuff like that. And then you've got like the Malkavians, who are which ones are the Malkavians? Very manipulative, of the sort of society and underworld kind of, or even the high economics and stuff like that. And then you get like the it's not Strigoi, but they're kind of like classic. It's called something like the Strigoi. But there's all these different houses of vampires, and it's a really dark, rich, theme-filled world. It's absolutely fantastic. There's been some very, very, very good video games about it. There's been some very, very, very good, very shit video games about it. But it's very cool.
There was that film about it as well. The Year Man with Robert Pattinson. He was in that film. It's very good.
And there's this game that came out called Vampire the Masquerade Vendetta.
Yeah.
And what it is a sort of area control game. You've got 4 locations out on the board, and they're just like a disc. One of them is Prince's Haven, which is the last one, and then the other 3 are districts in New York or something like that. And then in the center of said location, you have either essentially somebody who will come to your side, and they might be a powerful human person, or maybe a vampire. And the game is played. You each take on one of the houses in the Vampire the Masquerade, and you have your deck of cards, which is completely tailored to your house and how they, their backstory and how they play and everything like that. and you're going to play 3 rounds basically, and a round consists of your deck of cards is only about, I want to say 12, 14 cards, something like that. There's 2 cards that everybody starts with, Hunt and Prey. There might be another one, I forget. Might be 3 cards that everybody starts with.
There's
Hunt,
4
Prey,
cards.
and something else.
Is it a big board? Is it quite small?
No, it's just... No, it's literally, there is no board as such. The table is the board, and you just put some things down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to play cards onto it, and then it's basically area control. You'll go through a round.
Okay.
So, but the first thing you'll do is you'll get blood from your kind of pool of characters, which is what you're also trying to win from the middle of the board. And then blood's kind of like a currency, but then you've got influence as well, which is kind of the main victory points at the end of the game. So then you'll take 2 cards from your deck, and you'll either take one of them into your hand and put one of them on the bottom of the deck. So the one you put on the bottom of the deck, you're never going to see it again.
All right.
Because you're only going to play 3 rounds, and then you're going to, I think in the first round you'll play 3 cards, second round you'll play 4 cards, third round you'll play 5 cards. So that's all you're ever going to do is play that many cards, and then it's score.
Cool.
So you've got like essentially location 1, 2, 3 and Prince's Haven. And so in my turn, I might play a card down onto Prince's Haven, but what I could also do is I could play, that card basically consists of a special ability that either acts as like an ongoing, like it's always doing a thing, or it does when you get to the kind of resolution phase, essentially, where you add up all the power of this section and who wins stuff, and you get like first, second, third. You might have cards that do something before that bit or after that bit. So there's certain trigger stages. Basically, it's either dusk, ongoing, or dawn. So or essentially beginning, middle, and end. Essentially, kind of thing.
Okay.
And then they'll have obviously whatever the special ability is, but it will also have a power. Just a number. And then so you can either play. You can play that card face up, so everybody can see it, and then carries on moving around the table till everybody's played their requisite amount of cards for that round, and you're going to play them onto any one of the locations you want. What I could also do is instead play a card, but I play it face down, but I pay a blood to do that, so that goes back in the pot. Then obviously you can see that you've got something there, but they obviously can't see what it is or what you're trying to do. Then the other thing you could also do, whenever you play a card on a location, you could pay 3 blood onto that location, which is just basically power. So it's just, you're not boosting the card itself, but you're just adding power to that location. Yeah. So then, so everybody does that thing. Then you get to, everybody's done their cards, you get to location 1. I can't remember if this is before you flip the cards over or not, but essentially you'll then basically sit there and go, right, okay, Alex, Dave, me and Matt, we're in this location, so player 5 didn't add anything, so and then all of us will put a voting chip in front, so which is basically a stay or a go, and then everybody will turn them over. And if you go, what you can do is you take all your stuff back into your hand. You can take your blood, everything, or you could take your cards from this location and add them to the Prince's Haven one, which is essentially the same, but you get slightly more at the end. It's the last one. And then there'll be lots of cards that can reveal this card, add its power to the location, and then move it to Prince's Haven. So it can affect. You get lots of things that can move things to Prince's Haven. So the sort of the fight gets big at the end, kind of thing. Yeah. And then you'll basically tally up power. Adjust things based on special powers that have triggered or whatever like that, and then the winner gets X amount of influence, and the card in the middle adds it to their lot. These people and vampires and everything are also worth victory points at the end. And then whoever comes second, they get some influence. Whoever comes third, they might get some influence, and then fourth or lower doesn't get anything. And you'll just go through and do that in each location, and then eventually at Prince's Haven at the end. And Prince's Haven, you get if say for that round, winning influence of a location is 2, in Prince's Haven it would be 3. So it's an extra 1 each time. It's just a slightly more incentive. So then all those cards you've got, they all come back into your hand. Mm-hmm. So everybody starts to see what it is you can do. So like you might have played the game enough to know that Matt, who's got the Malkavians, you might sort of think, right, okay, I know that they're going to be trying to do this. They're going to be trying to put lots of people in one location and like blitz a location, and then what they'll probably likely be able to do is move all of those people to Prince's Haven or move them to another location, blah blah blah. Then you'll start to get a good idea of how the decks work, because it will work kind of very differently. Or like Brugia, they're super aggressive and deaf, so you might just go, right, well, okay, he's putting my face down, there's a fucking good chance that's like a 6. Yeah. And like a 3 is powerful, so a 6 is fucking huge, kind of things. So you could be sort of like, right, okay, there's a very good chance that there's a lot more power there than that one card makes it look, kind of thing. But then also, like I said, you've got like a deck of 14 cards, but each round you'll only add 1 to it, so you'll only ever have, like, I think it's depending on how many it is you start with, you'll only have like 7 cards to ever play with. And obviously everybody gets to see the cards, or most of the cards that you have, as you play, and then they'll come back to you. So if Dave's done this thing and he's got this combo of this card and this card, and then he sort of lays out something similar again, you've got a pretty good, like, oh fuck, he's going to do that bloody
he's
thing
going to do
again.
that,
and he's going to, oh Jesus Christ, right? So so you start to try and figure out how to get around the things that people are doing.
Can you mitigate what people do then, or are you kind of stuck with?
You kind of, because you've got obviously the different locations. You could be like, right, well, when Dave plays that thing there, okay, he's played another card there, he's going to do that fucking thing again. Right, well, fine, I'm just going to stay away from there, Right. So I'll focus on location 1. He's done it on location 2, or blah, blah,
right,
blah.
Okay.
Or, yes, you might, because of the cards you've got, you go, right, okay, well, when he tries to do that next time, this card that he hasn't seen me play yet, I'll be using that fucker. And okay. For a nasty surprise. Yeah. And then, like I say, everybody's got, like, hunt and prey, like there's like, I think it's 2 or 3 standard cards, but even those, although they work kind of vaguely the same, they're not still the same. Everybody's got their slightly different version of the base cards. It's just such a fantastic little game, though, and just nobody talks about it.
Is there a chance that once you know the game enough, you'll be able to kind of get around what other people are playing? Or will it fall into...
Not really, because you, although yes, you know roughly what somebody could do, if they don't get the certain cards that do, it depends what ones of their cards they actually ever get. Because, and like the way, although they might sort of go about doing what they do overall, the way they go about doing it might be slightly different based on the cards they end up getting access to. So yeah, I think it's a fabulous little game that every time I play it, I'm just like, why did this just get no love at all? It's just such a shame, because it's just really cool. It's a really, really, really good game.
Is it available? Is it out there and available to buy? I mean, like, as soon as I played my mate's copy of it, I just kept an eye on it like the second-hand, pages. Yeah. And I picked up the Kickstarter version, which for the Kickstarter version, I think it had a few extra cards and some. It had like
the influence tokens were metal coins instead of, and the blood things were acrylic red drips.
All right, okay.
It was, other than that, it's just perfectly nice cardboard tokens and stuff. But I got it for like 15 quid. It was like, so I think it's
insta-buy, isn't it? I mean, you get that.
Yeah, and I think there's enough copies out there because it is a vampire game, and obviously Vampire has been around for years, so it's reasonably popular to a degree. It probably got purchased a lot, and yeah, it's just I think it's just
there's probably people sitting on the shelf.
Strange.
There'll be people sitting on the shelf that are just like, if you put a post in the board game trading group and says, has anybody got a copy of this, there'd be somebody that would be happy to get rid of it for
it's a funny one as well though. It's also because, like, the Ponzi scheme size box.
Yeah.
It's the Ticket to Ride Lite. It's, in fact, it is the same. It's the same as the small Ticket to Ride games, the city ones. It's in that box. And I think those boxes can really hurt games sometimes, because they give the games within them a small game vibe that they don't necessarily have.
Yeah,
like Ponzi scheme is not a small game vibe, is it? It's a proper.
It's a proper game,
going at each other game.
Yeah.
But you put it in that little box, and suddenly it looks like it's it looks like it's like a filler plus kind of game.
I think the problem with boxes of that size is there are too many games that put their games in boxes of that size, and you open it up and it's about 70% air. There's nothing kind of in there. And I think sometimes people look at a small box and say, well, what am I getting? What am I kind of getting for that? And I guess the other thing is, as well, is if you've got your normal size game box and you're looking at putting on a shelf, easy to do. You got a smaller, more awkward one, you end up with one of these little towers where you've got kind of like multiple different widths of games and they don't actually fit anywhere. You've just got to like tower them up in some kind of way.
But no,
that's lovely.
Vampire the Masquerade Vendetta. I think it's if you ever see a copy of it and you like the vampire world, pick it up and have a game with it. And if you just like really good, doesn't take long to play, like area control with some good kind of combative tactics and strategy. It's a proper good game, really nicely produced, great sort of moody, dark artwork and stuff like that. Yeah, real belter of a game. I bet if you searched in the second-hand markets, you'd find it easier.
Oh, you'd be able to get that. Yeah, as I say, stick a post on the board game trading group and you'll be able to get one. Probably there'd be a couple of folk that would go, oh yeah, I've got that. I've not really played it. I have been trying to get, speaking of boxes, I've been trying to get some of these big boy boxes to the table. I'm currently looking at, and if I do this, is that going to work? You see what that is? Vindication.
Vindication. That is a fucking big box, isn't it?
Vindication is like a, it's a big boy box.
That's not the note. Is that like the Vindication?
That's like
plus?
The super big kind of everything collected kind of box with multiple kind of different kind of scenarios.
Are we in agreement that those are actually a hindrance, those boxes, to the game and getting it played?
I think boxes like that only serve the game if they separate out the different parts of the game. If you can go in, and if it's almost like a fancy Kallax shelf, and I can go in and say, right, this is this game, and here's all the components.
Here's the base game, and just slide it out. Yeah,
just take it out, and there you go. You can go ahead and play it. I think the problem with games
essentially that those boxes, I think, are only good if they essentially become a very, very fancy sleeve for the base game and all of its expansion boxes, if you know what I mean. Yes. So it's just a nice container for them to sit in.
Yeah, it's like I've got the Catacombs big box, and that has got its own little kind of compartments and shelves and stuff like that, so you can sort it out and just I'm going to take out the base game and play it, which is good. This one, I think you can kind of this is the other thing. It's been so long since I've kind of taken it out, and it's crazy because it is quite literally. I really like the game.
It sounds like a very good game,
I really like the game. It's such an easy game to kind of like play in terms of how it plays out and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, it's one of these games, I think, it's almost like not a campaign game as such, but you quite literally go, here's base Vindication, what do you think of that? Oh, that's amazing. Let's try kind of, the villages expansion. Let's try the pets expansion. Let's try that. And just layer it on.
It does seem like it was quite a big,
flavor.
hefty game though in of itself. It probably didn't actually really need expansions, correct? There's a lot of game in the base game in itself.
There's a reasonable amount of game in the base game, and I'm going to say that I think it's one of these games that I think once you have a certain strategy on how to play it, you can kind of potentially win it in a particular kind of way. Going for. There's a little bit of randomness. I think it merits having expansions. I think it merits having kind of different experiences and stuff like that. But I mean, the people that got it, I very, very rarely see base game Vindication come up for sale. It is one of those games that I don't see I don't see base game Vindication come up for sale a lot. I have seen, interestingly enough, I think it falls almost into the Everdell kind of camp, where you've got people that have got big box Everdell and have got everything Everdell, and then just go, do you know what? I'm never going to get this played. I'm never ever going to get all these played. And even the thought of unpacking it and getting all the stuff together, which is why I think
for Everdell you want Everdell and one or two of the expansions.
Yeah.
That's it.
But then if you're a completist, it ends up like Root, doesn't it? You end up with base game Root, and then it's like you end up, everybody just plays base game Root because you don't play the other things because you've got to kind of understand the rest of base game. Look, but speaking of Root, what do you think of the split? the kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, here we are, breaking industry news coming at you live. If you were like, obviously, don't listen to any.
That did come as a surprise, didn't it?
I think at some. I think at some point, I think it kind of. I mean, it happens with the best.
So who was it that's left Leader Games?
Is it not Cole? Cole and
Cole
Kyle.
Worley, he's
gone on to. I think he's going on to do his own kind of thing. I don't know if Kyle Ferrin has got. Kyle Ferrin has gone as well.
Am I right in thinking that Cole has taken with him Arcs and Oath?
Yes.
I think it was.
Yes.
But Leader is keeping Root.
Yes.
I think that at the time I heard about it, that was the, I think, speculated knowledge. It wasn't quite confirmed.
I think that's what's gonna happen. I think it could be a good thing because when you've got kind of like the creative minds behind Root and the creativity of Leader Games as well, then you're budgeted to only really creating kind of one game every 6 months or one game a year.
They wanna keep you on the teat, yeah.
And again, I guess if you're kind of in that situation where you're kind of like going, well, we've got a couple of really, really good games on the table that are ready and they're ready to go. And then it becomes a logistics thing and a cash flow thing because you can't really go ahead and justify another, 2 reprints for 2 new IPs. You're probably pushed to want to go to some kind of crowdfunding, and then you don't necessarily want to go to crowdfunding 2 places in a row, do you?
No.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I suppose it's a bit. Sometimes you see these things, and I'm sure there's examples where they've worked. But I look at like Cole Worley going off and leaving Leader Games to start. I'm presuming he's essentially his own publishing house. I think he's starting his own publisher. It reminds me a little bit of Konieczka, and I always said Konieczka was the most untalked about, but one of the best game designers out there. But it's because he was part of Fantasy Flight, basically, and they never really. It's not they hid his name. He wasn't, they just didn't.
They never had designers front and centre on it, did they? They never actually. It was a fantasy.
Not so much, but it was also. I suppose it was in these sort of earlier days of the bubble beginning to expand that we didn't the designer wasn't as front and center in anything as it were. Absolutely. That's become a much more appreciated role, as it were, really knowing designers and knowing what they do. So no, like obviously then Corey left Fantasy Flight, and I'm trying to think what his company he started up, but I don't think they've had like a good game come out.
See, I guess that's the thing, isn't it?
The initiative, and I think was 3,000 Scoundrels his?
Maybe.
That might have been. Yeah, they're all just a bit average, and sometimes maybe it's like, you are under some level of control, and you haven't got just freedom of direction.
But do you also not have the ability to kind of make mistakes as well? Do you have the ability to kind of like... Because I think sometimes...
because like if you start your own publishing, you can't afford to have a dud.
No. And whereas also at the same time, you can't
if you're part of Fantasy Flight, you they can't all be bangers.
Well, on the other side of it, you can have 5 or 6. You can have 5 or 6 designs sitting on the table, and you just get somebody coming along and going, I'm sorry, mate, that's shit.
And also, but the point, but my point, I was thinking with, and obviously this is purely speculation. I have no idea Corey Konieczka might have done, but he is I think he's one of my. Even I probably don't give him props as to how much he might be actually my favourite designer of all time. If I really think back over his catalogue and stuff, he designed Star Wars Rebellion for a start, and I could kiss him on the mouth for that, and so like obviously he's a great designer, but then obviously when he becomes a publisher, now he's a publisher, and he's also designing games, so. Now he's got to make sure that this is being done, and this is being done, and this is being done, and this is being done. Whereas, like somewhere like Fantasy Flight, was he basically allowed to go, you can, down in his room and, mad scientisting away with all his designs and coming up with all this crazy shit, and then, somebody walks in and says, "What we got?" And he's like, "Look at this," and he hands it to them, and they're like, "Fucking hell, this is amazing," and they take it off and, get it developed and honed and marketed and artwork and blah 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 and all this approved and everything like that. So when is it sometimes better to be part of a big thing? Is Cole Worley's his genius because he's obviously clearly a genius game designer, is it best when they're able to be left to do that, or is it best when they're there being challenged? Somebody kind of walks up and goes, that's okay. That's okay, but what about 3 players? That's true. What about? What about this? I'm going down this. They have a constant critical view. Yeah, because it's money, because it's the commercial decision that has to be made, and sometimes, as you say, kind of trying to sell. There's somebody else who could look at it from a different point of view and look at it with different eyes, and it's. Yeah, because a designer publishing their own games, they're always going to be very close to it, and it's it becomes your baby. How many people are ever going to critique it and truly hone it if you're the top dog? Exactly, kind of thing. I mean, this is their job might depend on, Sorry, I'm just reading down. I mean, when you said I know the name. Corey Konieczka.
But I mean, this is like
truly.
I
mean, he's been doing it since what, like Warrior Knights and
Warrior Knights,
he's been doing it
StarCraft,
for
Tide
so
of Iron,
long.
Battlestar Galactica, World of Warcraft, Rune Age,
I mean,
Gears
he
of War,
was
Mansions
the
of Madness,
Fantasy Flight man.
Descent, Journeys into Dark, Star Wars Imperial Assault, Forbidden Stars, Star Wars Rebellion, Star Wars Destiny. We'll never forgive you for taking Star Wars Destiny away from us, ever.
Not his fault. Not his fault.
Twilight Imperium, Discover Lands Unknown. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Fucked up on that.
All
one.
right, okay. Made them.
Can't all be bangers, Corey.
I don't know. I've never played it. I mean, I've never played it.
It sounded like it was fucking awful.
I mean, that was into his REM session, and we all know what happened to REM eventually.
What was that? That was the thing Keyforge started. That didn't. Keyforge. What was it? The
random game with random components.
Procedurally generated.
Yeah.
Unique. Was it unique?
Yeah.
Unique games.
Yeah.
So everything yours was unique to everybody else's,
Yeah.
and the only other thing that tried to do it was that whatever it was called.
Discover Lands Unknown.
And it was just fucking
it was
shite.
awful. It was
Luckily,
cardboard
Keyforge managed to carry on
NFTs.
being good.
But I mean, then
it really was.
I mean, you've then got Star Wars Outer Rim. I mean, okay. Voices in My Head, 3,000 Scoundrels, and then he's gone Mandalorian Adventures.
3,000 Scoundrels. I told you. So yeah. So I'm sure what's the initiative? I'm sure that was him.
The Initiative.
Yeah, the Initiative.
Yeah, the
For
Initiative
Unexpected Games. That's his publisher house. Yeah, there you go.
Just what?
Founded in 2019, spearheaded by game designer Corey Konieczka. Yes.
I mean, founded in
So
2019.
like I said,
That's a bad
I
thing.
think Corey Konieczka is, he is a truly
I'm gonna have to agree with you.
fantastic. Yeah, see, I mean, like, as much as it pains, and I've heard that Voices in My Head was actually quite a clever and fun and cool different game. Somebody posted it. It was on sale in Morrison's for £1.50. What the friggin' hell it was on? Yeah. Why it was in Morrison's of all bloody shops, I have no idea. Which is a very, very regular supermarket for us for everybody outside the UK. So like 3,000 Scoundrels is another. It was a game that when I heard about it, I was just like, oh, that sounds really cool. It's really doing something really different. It's really, it just wasn't that good in the end. It was just a bit of but like I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, 3,000 Scoundrels wasn't great. The Initiative was a bit average by the sound of it. Blah blah blah. Corey Konieczka is obviously not a good designer, because I could tell you for a fact he was a frigging great designer. Okay. He is a great designer. He's great, comes the greatest games. But since he had his own publishing house, he hasn't put out anything that's as much of a banger as anything he did in the past. Now, is that because he's now a publisher and not just a designer? I'd say you give him an IP and he goes, right, how much of that IP can I get in this box? Yeah. You know how much I can get in it? All of it. Every last bit of it.
And now I've got the Star Wars Rebellion expansion as well, so
it's the only way to play it.
That is the only way to play it, and I'm looking forward to playing it. So that's what I'm looking forward to play.
I forgot to tell you about a very cool thing actually me and Elliot are doing this weekend.
What's that?
So there's a little convention that goes on in the National Space Centre in Leicester.
Oh.
It's called Go On Board? Something like that. Go On Board. And like I say, it's held for 2 days in the National Space Centre in Leicester. And me and Elliot are running the patent take for Transatlantic Games Tooth and Coats. So we're going there for the weekend to do that. Because the fella who would usually do it has got a family thing that he couldn't get to, and Mark Cook is running said event for them. And when he heard that the guy couldn't do it, he said, I've got a guy who could probably do it. And I said, can Elliot come? He was like, yeah, why not?
Wonderful.
So
excellent.
We're going to have a fun weekend of showing people some painting and in the National Space Centre.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. That's just ridiculous. That is just
it's
ridiculous.
It's going to be banging. Elliot,
that is it.
Elliot is very excited.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I think it is time to disappear. I just want to say, if you've listened, I mean, that is time. I mean, time of demise. If you've listened along to today, or whenever you're listening to, if you want to do something, tell other people that we exist. If you like us even more and you miss some of the previous episodes, feel free to go back to some of the previous episodes and give them a little download, give them a little review, give them a little rating. It always helps us get out there. If you want to catch up with all of the other episodes that we've put out there, go to we'renotwizards.com. If you want to see the podcasts as well as any kind of written reviews that we've done, you can go to we'renotwizards.co.uk as well. Right, it's time to say goodbye. So remember,
Right, goodbye. Bye.
No,
See you later. Bye.
no.
Go on.
Remember,
Go.
stay safe.
Come on.
Roll sixes, make something awful, and
Stay spicy, Ellis. Stay spicy.
he's probably about 20. You know what I mean? This is dodgy. We're gonna get
I'd
arrested.
rather he be 20 than like you tell me he's like freaking 14 or something like that. And I've got suddenly Ellis's dad tracking me down.
Oh yeah, he's important.
Talking about Jimmy Savile for 20 minutes beforehand.
It's not going to go down well at all. Right, so, and it's a good, remember, we are many things, but we're not wizards. But, so it's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from him.
And until the next time, goodbye.
Wizard is never late.
Bye-bye.
Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.